welcome to this episode I have for you today. Today's episode is going to be the first of my York City career mode. I had some troubles recording audio and getting everything set for this episode. The first time I tried getting this ready, I accidentally recorded I planned on recording for an hour, but it glitched and it got corrupted, so I couldn't use it. And so I recorded this and then live commed it, and then the audio got corrupted. And so this is the third attempt at audio, but the video itself is still fine. So that's why I just went through the main screen, because I was trying to explain to you guys what happened the last time I tried to. But in this episode, there's going to be no gameplay. It's just going through the team, simming the last two preseason games, and all of that. So here I go to the squad so you guys can check out the squad. So currently we have Jose Miguel Silveira as our goalie. We signed him in free agency. And then we have Oyabanjo as our starting right back. And then we have Tom Allen, who was going to be who's our backup to Parzalo right now. And then we signed Raju Gaikwad, also in free agency, who was a really nice pickup because of his speed. I actually didn't know he was that fast. And then we signed Luke Rowe, also in free agency. I didn't buy any players except for one, and I'll get to that in a second. But Luke Rowe we signed because we needed a left back, because we only had one, and then we had one on and loan, and that was Davies, and Davies is the same overall as Rowe. But Rowe's going to be the backup left back to somebody that we're hopefully going to sign, that we do end up signing in this video. But Josh Carson is going to be our starting right mid over Puri, because Puri was injured at the time, but I think Puri just mainly got outplayed. We will probably use him later on. But Louis Montrose is currently at this point in time our starting right center mid, and Platt is our left center mid, and then Brabel is our left mid. And then our strikers are Richard Cresswell, a 35-year-old who's likely to retire at the end of the year, and Ryan Jarvis, And so that's our substitutes. Nothing special. And then our reserves, again, nothing special. And there's Ben Davies, who's on loan. I'm not sure where he's from, but he doesn't look much better than Luke Rowe, so we're not going to do anything with that. Here I go to transfers and go to negotiations so I can show you guys the players that we're still trying to sign. Here's the player that we signed, Gaynor, as a free transfer coming to us at the end of his contract, who is likely going to be one of our best left backs, maybe our backup. And so the only reason why I signed Luke Rowe and going to sign another player is because we need left back help now. And Gaynor is probably going to stay next year, and he's also only on $750 dollars per week. So yeah. We also had McGurk, Ingham, and that was it, leaving the club. But these are the players that we're trying to sign at this moment. Kim Jin-soo, left back, Tim Payne, center mid, and Pedro Ozogwe also at center mid. Because I think that our center mids are weak at a 59 and only a 57 overall. But at this point in time, we have $3,748,000 in wage. And what I decided to do was, with this scout, I decided to send him out to England, but only scout promising players that only have 12 months remaining on their contract, so that at the end of the year we can possibly get them as a free transfer, which would be awesome. But yeah, here's our two scouts. Elliot Logan is the one doing the player scouting, and at this point, I only had it at any position under 25, but that was stupid of me to do, and so I changed it here. Two promising as well. And sorry, not 25, 23 as the max age. And so I'm just going through stuff, trying to get to where I want to. And so here I believe I advance. Yes, I advance, and I got an email, so I stopped the simulation. And it was Pedro Zogwe declining our offer. So we decided to offer him important first team player, in which we were hoping he'd sign with, because the main problem with signing free agents isn't the money portion usually. It's more the squad role. And that's usually the hardest part with keeping them as well. You don't give them their proper squad role and that. And so two more emails and same thing. Sue and Payne both declining the offer because we didn't offer them good enough squad roles. And so Kim Jung-soo, I offered important first team player, and with Tim Payne, I offered squad rotational. And so at this point in time, knowing what overall Tim Payne is, I regret putting him at important first team player because he isn't better than our current two in our lineup. So we got an email about our league objective. It was a weird one because at the beginning of the season it already tells you what they want out of you. And for me, it was they wanted mid-table and round of 32, I believe. And so here we sim this match versus Sogndal. It's hard to read on the small screen in Movie Maker right now, but we lost that game 4-0, and Parslow got injured, which really worried me, and for good reason, because he was out, for 2 weeks. I was just really glad it wasn't something more. But we also got another update from England, adding 5 more players, and I accidentally got rid of a player here. So I was just making sure all of them said promising, so I deleted him, and Luke Clark I accidentally got rid of. But it's alright to get rid of one accidentally. But yeah, so there's a fair few players that I'm definitely looking at interestingly. And so we got a transfer offer for Jamal Fifield, who was our odd man out at left back, slow, 53 overall. I decided to sell him. I forget what club got him, but as you can see, Parslow pulled quad 2 weeks. And so in we sub Tom Allen, I believe. Yes, we do. I was going to put in Chris Smith, but he's 32 and I'd rather give some times to the young guy, Tom Allen, who's only 18, and he is quite tall, 6'4". And so I was just rotating around the squad a bit. This also is a quite long episode, 22 minutes. So I continue on. and I go back to simulating some more advancing, hoping for some good news before this next match against SVS. And I got 3 emails, and I was hoping that all of them would say signed, but for some reason I accidentally scouted Azogwe and Hyung-soo. Hyung-soo was somebody that was a center back that I was going to go after, but I found no interest in him in the end, as he didn't really fit what I was looking for. And bad news in the 3rd email, as it was Pedro Azogwe declining. So we had to give him crucial first team player, which I was a bit tentative about, but I was glad that his overall was much higher than all of our central midfielders. So as we continue on the Saturday the 3rd, we get 3 more emails, and again I was hoping that it would say all of them accepted, but it was saying all good news. Player sold, Kim Jing-soo signs, and Tim Payne signs as well. Now, I had to do some adjusting of the wage budget, but here's the overalls of the 2 players I signed. Tim Payne was 56 overall, which I was quite disappointed about, but Kim Jin-soo is, as you can see here, a 60 overall. I was much happier about that than the Tim Payne signing, because if you look, he is tied for our best defender at the moment with Oyabanjo. And so we have 2 good left backs and fullbacks, not fullbacks, right backs, and then our center back still needs some work. But as you can see here, he is the same overall as Clay, Whitehouse, and I think that was it. But he is still young. He's 19. I think that's what it said. No, he's like 21 or 22 or something. I'm not too sure. But I just decided to reorganize the substitutions because I didn't need Smith in there, because center backs don't really get tired. And if I really needed to, I could adjust the formation to only have 3 defenders if one got injured. But I decided, who did I put on the bench? On the squad, sorry. Not the squad, oh my gosh. The substitutions. I think I put Whitehouse. No, I put Tim Payne, obviously. Wow, that was really stupid of me. But, yeah, continuing on. Only one. Oh, no, we don't yet. Oh, yeah, I readjust the transfer budget. And so I go in here because I needed a bit more change. I went in here to see if I could sell anybody else. And I tried to sell Ryan Jarvis, but I couldn't. But I luckily got an offer for him later on and was able to sell him, I believe. Yes. But I put up Parslow, unfortunately, because I had to at the time. But, sorry about that. I don't actually end up selling him. I needed him dearly because if we didn't, then my best 2 center backs would be a 57 and a 56 overall, which definitely would not be good. And so continuing on, I got an email saying Puri has returned from injury. And I was also hoping to sell Puri as well, but I couldn't because he recently joined. And so, yeah, he's also the most expensive player that I have. Like, expensive as in worth the most. As you can see, he is at 325,000. And so Silbera is actually getting the most wage at 4,000 per week, which is it's a little steep, but I was okay with that. And so trying to free up some wage, I put up a whole bunch of players for loan, trying to scrape up that few little last money to hopefully get Azogwe, as I knew he would contribute to the team fairly at $2,000 per week. And so we came up at this match versus SVS, and I simmed this one too. I only played the first preseason match hoping to get some gameplay for you guys, but you guys already know what happened. And we lost 2-1. So that was a little disappointing. Jarvis got a goal, who is no longer even be at the club. I'm sorry if any York fans watch this video and are disappointed with what I'm doing, but here's the transfer offer we got for him, and I was quite excited there. Plymouth Argyle come to me for $240,000 for him, and I was gladly going to accept that. And here I praise Silbera because I want my goalie in the best form possible. And I think that's what everybody would agree with saying. That's for sure. The goalie is one of the most important positions, because if you don't have a goalie, then you're going to be in some trouble. You could have Ronaldo up front and Messi, but you could still lose every single game if you had the worst goalie in the world, to be honest. Because all they need to do is like take a long shot and it would go in every single time, basically. So I got more emails, this time saying that Jarvis was sold and Azogwe had signed, which was amazing. It really was truly amazing. I was so glad. And we also had money left over to sign a replacement for Ryan Jarvis. Now, I sort of got impatient and quickly signed a guy who didn't really fit. His name is JJ. That's what I'm just going to call him because I can't pronounce his last name very well. And so here I just go looking for him. And so he's from India. He's a 56 overall. I offered him important first team player, which was wrong of me to do because I have 58 overalls ahead of him. I was going to go with Alwyn George, but Alwyn George didn't look very good. This is the JJ guy that I signed. His last name is Lal Pekalula. He's 5'8", and he was the best out of the three, in my opinion. And also the tallest, I think. No, he's tied for tallest with Alwyn George, but yeah, here I go for JJ. Yep, I go right away to sign him, and he was only asking 12.50, and see how I rushed and went important first team player. Mistake on my part, big mistake, because I'd only a 56 overall. That's not gonna cut it, and so I'm gonna have to give him a fair few games, and I hope that he actually turns out to be an underrated good player, and not just the rated where he should be. But here's Azogwe into the team at a whopping 63 overall compared to our second best players being 62 and 61. So I was really happy with that. And I think this video is starting to come to an end relatively soon, because we only have 3 days until the Bristol Rovers game. And so that game will be in the next episode for you guys. I know that for sure. And yes, I do advance, and the only thing that stops the simulation is JJ signing, I believe. I decided to just continue going until it forced me to stop. And it was only 2 player conversations. It was Sue asking for some playing time, because even though he'd been bad in the preseason, I was fine with him playing. And it was Purry saying that he's okay to play, but he's probably not going to play for a fair bit. And coming in on the Friday before the Saturday game, we got a transfer offer for Parslow, but I decided to reject all offers and disallow future offers because we need him dearly, and he's a veteran at the club. You can't have a whole bunch of young guns without having a couple veterans in there to calm him down when things are rough. And so we come to the Bristol Rovers match day, and we get an update from England getting 5 more players. But the main thing I was happy about is getting JJ. Now, if anybody here who knows FIFA fairly well, they'll know that KSI's abbreviated name is JJ. And so I hope that he plays as well as JJ KSI does, which would be quite awesome because JJ or KSI is quite the good FIFA player. But this is the end of the episode. I'd like to thank you for watching and have a nice day. Goodbye.